Oh man, it gets me every time.
Yep.
So hey, John Kimmler, let's do the podcast! Exclamation point.
Let's go.
All right, we're here.
Well, we were just talking about Dungeons and Dragons, but I thought that would be fascinating to begin with, But
I think we just got done talking about that off camera.
Well,
It's baseball time.
Next time I'll press record. But
I wonder how many of these baseball teams have like a Dungeons and Dragons crew.
You got to have the hot mic going, Lou, when people don't know they're on the air.
But he's in charge of the meeting. I can't do anything behind his back.
Yeah.
But I was going to say that my son plays D&D, and I think that's something that's different because John said that back in his day it wasn't something you wore on your sleeve, but I think it's different now. It's like it's cool to be a nerd. It's okay,
Well, there's so many other games too. It's just not Dungeons and Dragons. There's all kinds of role-playing games and stuff like that are out there. They're all different.
What's the one with the magic cards?
Yeah, it's Magic the Gathering.
Magic?
Yeah,
where cards go for millions of dollars.
But that's like that's a totally different thing from that too. That's like a card game. That's not like, well, I don't know, kind of a card game mixed with Dungeons and Dragons.
I think they're pretty similar the way it was explained to me. I don't know. I've never played it. But I know some of these cards go for millions of dollars.
I know
too. I've seen that.
Do like Magic tournaments on Friday night here in town. There's like a card. There was a card. I don't think it's there anymore. But I dropped my. He wasn't too old then, and I think it was like something like $17, whatever. And he never did win. I felt like I was donating to the card shop, so it was a good cause.
Talking about what's cool now and wasn't cool back then. This happened to catch a little of this movie, the remake of Jump 21 Street or Jump whatever that's called.
Jump Street.
Right, they made a movie of it, and so these guys go back. It's Seth. Or I don't know what these guys are, but anyways, the point is they go back to high school as adults, pretending to be high school students, and everything that they were ashamed of or nerdy back then is now super cool. And they're like, "Well, we were born in the wrong era." All right.
My hat's all fucked up. I wanted to put a hat on because my glare is just killing me, coming off my head. It's just like I got two laser beams coming right off. Now they're gone.
I can't make too much funny because
the hat's crooked or
the forehead's going behind my ears now. So.
Oh, this week in baseball. Hey, did you guys see that catch by was it Joey Loperfido for the Astros? He robbed a home run, but it flipped out of his mitt, didn't hit the wall, and he caught it with his bare hand on the way back down to the ground.
I didn't see it. No, when was that?
That happened this week sometime.
It's amazing I miss anything. I watch a lot. At least highlight shows, at least MLB Network. But I guess
look it up. Loperfido catch. It's Loperfido.
Oh, I know him well because I have the John Singleton in the Roto League, and they called up Loperfido now, and I was worried he was going to steal his at bats and stuff. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing catch. They actually went to review to see if it hit the wall or not, and it didn't. And it was just crazy. One of the craziest catches I've seen in a while.
Did you see? They showed this tonight, but I saw it. It was a couple days ago, I guess. But Volpe for the Yankees, and he's actually been. He's not like a lazy player. I mean, he's been a hustler, but he kind of trotted into home.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, the runner got tagged out at second before he crossed the plate. So it's just hopefully a learning experience for him. Just run it out.
How about here's a learning experience. How about what's his name from the Yankees, center fielder
Grisham.
Did you see that lazy ass play he did?
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad.
That's unforgivable because he is a defensive player first. And he's got some pop too, but he's in there for defense primarily on that team. They're well, if Judge got hurt, we wouldn't have anybody that could play center, you know. And for him to like make that lazy ass play, it's like Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You know,
Just nonchalant went up like he was just like in practice or something, or shagging fly balls like for people hitting, you know. And that thing rolled up, or just he misplayed it. I don't know what the fuck he did, man, but I think it just rolled up his mitt because he was just like, I don't know, just
there was
taking it easy.
a third baseman made something similar to that play. Was it the Cubs? I can't remember. This is probably over a week ago, but he kind of like nonchalant. Was it?
I can't remember.
Jeez, who that was it? I can't remember.
I was actually at the game
No,
Friday.
that might have been a Yankee too. That might have been LeMahieu.
Yeah.
He like kind of like stabbed it. It was a real slow roller, but he misplayed it. You know.
Can't take anything for granted.
Yeah, especially these prices. You know, just
Mm.
I think you can run those 90 feet. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the
You'll
whole
be
thing.
fine.
That's the Joe Madden respect 90 rule. And I think it rings true. Makes people play harder.
You know, they showed the Grisham play, and then they showed the Reggie Jackson play where Billy Martin walked out to right field and pulled him out of the game, and then they got in a fist fight in the dugout and stuff.
Oh, I remember that.
Jackson like sort of dogged it, but it wasn't nearly as blatant as like these plays that we're talking about.
Right.
There was probably something going on between them before that, anyway. But
It was like a long single that could have been caught easy if he wasn't just loafing over there to get it, you know. He just let up and just said it's gonna go. He didn't try. Yeah. Anywho, John, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Your team's done pretty well over the last, I don't know how many weeks.
on the rise.
Yeah.
You always see me like I always see you in like the top half or the middle right now.
He's
I think
pushing.
I'm right in the middle, fifth or sixth, something like that.
Yeah. A couple of weeks of 6-0 and you'll be right up there in the top four.
I could pick up a couple games, but I'm not built to win this year, I'm afraid.
You know, it's weird because it's almost like the tale of two halves sometimes. You know, where somebody has like a slow first half, and then maybe all their players, they just got all those guys that pick it up in the second half. And sometimes there's that thing that happens for, just like momentum.
Yeah.
That's what I'm praying
Yeah,
for.
play 162, see what happens, right?
Let's play
Exactly.
162, yeah. Or let's play, what do we do? 156.
Well, let me take a look and see where we're at as far as how many games most teams have played here.
I've got that. Well, I've got the
So we're
percentage
looking
that
at
we are
about
for the season.
they're more than halfway through the season, so we're about 90 games. 90 games is your top, and then a couple of teams have a little bit less from rainouts and some other shit. So, but 90 games is what I'm seeing as a top.
We are 56% of the way through the season through yesterday.
Yeah.
So for most teams, that would be can barely see. I guess I should put my glasses on. That would be 90 games. Very good, Jeff.
Hey, look at that. I was looking at stats
He just eyeballs it, you know?
with a magnifier on my face.
Well, I'll go to the standings now, all right?
Let's do it.
We'll go to that glance page first. That should be a quick visit. Still churning right there. Yeah, it's starting.
Are you French, Lou?
Yeah, my dad's side, it's French,
Okay.
French Canadian. I mean, originally from France, but like 1600s.
Because it came up Lou Saint it's something I hadn't seen before. Anyways, if it shows up again.
Well, that's just my fake YouTube name. You know?
Oh, that's your.
I don't
That's
want to be
your,
associated. I don't want to be associated.
Noom to Bloom.
With my real name. So, but yeah, that's just an alternate spelling.
Gotcha.
Well, the glance. Yours truly was for the weekend Warriors, and Daddy's lost 3 games. They were the straw spinners.
Oh yeah, that blew.
None of this stuff has changed. Buddha, overages, underages, it's all the same people. Daddy's is still the paragons of pitching pace prudence, but now they're 22 innings under. So we got a lot of folks over.
So Lou, let me
A
ask,
couple guys get lit up.
Lou, how's the new innings limit experiment working?
I think it's doing just fine. I don't think anybody's having much problem, like, you know, getting up there.
Right.
I mean, we still have to whittle down. You know, I'm in the process of whittling myself, so I'm happy with it. I'm glad we didn't bite off more than we could chew. I didn't think we did. I didn't want it to be so high that even people who didn't want to stream would have to stream.
Right.
But I know that I'm a good test case because I'm not a streamer, and I'm not having any trouble with it. So, and then the predicted top 4 is all the same as last week at least, and players of the week.
Hey Lou, you know what I think a real interesting experiment would be, or a look back at the predicted changes, and it usually stays pretty close to the current standings, right?
Yeah.
What you should do is at the end of the year, for the last couple of years, see how accurate it was at the beginning of the season versus where it ended up. You follow? Meaning, like, instead of like this, it's predictive. Like, well, yeah, those are the top 4 teams. But like, it'd be curious what it was at the very beginning of the season versus where you finish up to see how accurate it really is over the last couple of years. Am I making sense?
The top 4, McBride's is actually in 6th.
But you know what I'm saying? It's generally yeah, right. But I'm just saying it would be
the only
interesting.
thing that's different, but yeah.
No. I'm just saying at the very beginning of the year, the model predicts the 4 top, right? It'd be interesting how close at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
how it compares to the end of the year.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to do before this year. I used to do a tempered thing that would it would be more confident as the year went on, because obviously after 3 games, 9 games, you know, it's not going to be very accurate. In fact,
that would be interesting though, to see how accurate it really is. Like at the beginning of the year, but wow, before the first game was played, here's the predicted order, and here's where they ended up, and this, and I think maybe you'll find it surprisingly accurate, as opposed to maybe this predicted top 4 is more reliant on, you know, the current standings. I don't know.
well, it's all based on what's happened, you know, so it's not really predicting the future. It's just like it's saying if the teams perform as they have so far, and of course you get rid of any Buddha luck, and I mean, you keep the Buddha luck for what's already happened, but not going forward, and then overages and underages. You know, so it's really, you know, it's not really predicting. It's just like saying, based on what has happened so far, getting rid of the overages, this is what's happened. Because I don't correct for underages because those teams usually don't make that.
And I follow you on that. And at the very before the first game is played, you have the model predict the first couple places, and that is completely predicted because it's not relying on any games played. I'd be curious to see how that and how the years ended up, how they
the kiss of death, if that's what you're talking about, that's like totally separate. That's like that's just based on, well, when I've been when I put more effort into it, that was based on like the ATC projections.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so much easier for me to use the Yahoo RotoWire projections, which aren't as good.
I know, and
that's what I did this year too, you know. But that's different from this.
And teams change so drastically over the course of the years. You know, the team you start with is not the team you end up with. I get it.
Well, that's the thing. Like kiss of death, there's guys that could leave the auction with a relatively poor team, and they're going to correct it, and and it's going to be different. So that's why it's the kiss of death, because it's not really an accurate thing. Although I think last year and even this year it looks like it's been okay, but in general, it's especially when I use the RotoWire Yahoo projections, which which are inferior to ATC, which because ATC uses consensus
Right.
projections, and that's going to be closer to the truth than any single person, most likely. I know that you're an ATC fan. So.
No, right on. I got you.
I also was an XTC fan, so I guess anything ending in TC.
Oh, Nigel.
I know it says right here that I've gotten minus like 22. Actually, I just looked at it was minus 24. This was yesterday. I've got 6 pitchers going tomorrow.
Did it say you're
I don't
saying
think
it
I've
said
ever had
minus
that happen
24 in
before.
this?
It says, well, no, I'm minus 20. Well, I looked at the website
Oh
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
said I was minus, maybe because some of the games started already, I'm already down innings, but it says
And that
minus
wouldn't affect
24.
it because they don't update until overnight. But they're doing it based on how many days are left in the season, and these are based on percentage of, like all the games that have been played so far, what percentage of the season we're through. So actually, I think
Well, I know that. I know all that. I'm just saying, I'm minus 22 now, but after tomorrow, I'll probably be up by about 10, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, according to this, you're the closest to zero. So like, you're still the paragon here. So so yeah, pitching overage, you don't have to worry about that at all, and you're not so far under that you're going to have trouble making it up. So that's why you're here. This is a position of honor.
Well, look at that.
So holy
Yeah, not the one
cows,
below it though. I'm also the straw spinner, so that means I had a really bad weekend.
holy cows, 7 games under, but this is a position of honor. They're the closest to zero. So, all right. Well, I'll move on to players of the week. We had Bizzatti had Wilson Contreras, and that's a repeat catcher of the week for Bizzatti. They had Higashioka last week, and McBride's had the same thing with Kimbrel. They had Puck, AJ Puck last week, so they had the relief pitcher of the week last week too. Now here's the dads: Christian Walker and Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, they both had a pretty good week.
2 players of the week out of 7 is that's good. You should have a good week when you do that.
Yeah, well, then you have Cade Povich go out there and get you minus 21.
That was brutal. I saw that.
Fucking brutal.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, that poor kid, man.
I think it was last week, the week before. Spear had 2 players of the week, just like you did, and they went 0-6. So it's not everything, but usually that would be a good sign.
Yeah, that poor kid got cut from my team immediately.
Spite cut. He's
No,
supposed to be
just
good.
he hasn't really come out of the block strong, and he's a lefty and he doesn't throw very hard.
Well, Kramer came back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's his spot or not. I'm not sure. But they had somebody else.
Probably gonna be.
Right? Kramer went. Oh, Bradish went down. Yeah, so that was his opening. That was if he pitched well, he could have stayed with because Bradish.
I think they got other people down there that might do a little better. Holy Moses, that fucking hurt.
That was just one game, though. If I was, I'm not giving up on him as a fantasy player. I think he's definitely worth keeping an eye on.
I can't hold him on my roster right now pitching like that. I'm trying to prove shit.
I hear that.
I don't need more people throwing negative 21. He's got 6 starts. He's got 32. He's had 1 solid game, and that was like against Atlanta back on June 12th, and everything else was terrible.
Well, he's got a high prospect pedigree, and he's young, so you never know when they can turn it around.
That'd be like Kevin Gausman, but it took him 5 years.
Oh my, Kevin Gausman has sucked this year. He's terrible.
Well, he got good after about 5 years. Everybody was like, "Ooh, Kevin Gossman." Well, he was kind of mediocre for a long time. I think maybe he got hurt too.
I've got him on my AL Roto, and the thing that's concerning me, he's pitched mediocre. He doesn't completely suck,
He's bad.
but
He's bad.
his velocity is down a couple of miles per hour, or a couple of ticks.
He's bad this year, dude. It's pretty bad.
He's had some good starts though, so I mean, it's just been mediocre. It hasn't been disastrous.
Well, bad, in comparison to his draft capital. He's
Right.
supposed to be a top 5 pitcher, and he ain't anywhere close to that.
Right.
I just picked up that Cal Quantrell because basically I've been reading a lot of reports that he's going to be dangled at the trade deadline, and I think change of scenery
Getting
to a
out of
new
Colorado,
team
yeah, that's
will
probably
be
going to be good.
very good for him in the long run.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets dealt. Spent a lot of FAAB dollars on him.
If he goes to the AL, he'll be a highly sought after guy. This other league that I just joined, they have a draft for people that came over from the NL. They have it after August 1st. So anybody that got traded from the NL so far this year, you couldn't pick up. I tried to pick up 2 guys like that, and then they told me I couldn't do it, and I was like, oh shit, because I dropped 2 guys. But because it was my first year, they took mercy on me and let me keep the guys that I had dropped. But that won't happen again,
As long as we're talking about pitching, Lou, I'm a huge fan of the quality start.
I am too.
In the B.E.E.R league.
Yeah, well, it's if the math had worked out different, where we could have just innings pitched and earned runs or something like that. But we have this thing where we want to keep whole numbers. We want to keep it to whole. We don't want the decimal points, fractional points. And I agree with that. It's just kind of nice to have whole numbers. But it limits some of what we can do with the point system. So the quality start was great. We decided we did it last year, and then this year, Fangraphs actually added it. So we coincided with them. They had not had it before. They're such snobs. They don't have saves and holds and things. Even in wins, I don't think they have in their splits. If you look at the custom dates, like their splits, they don't have those because they consider those, they're not real stats. It's beneath them. But they did add the quality start
in there. But quality starts. It's more so than wins. Wins are so fluky. And quality starts is a quality pitcher can get quality starts, regardless of the offense behind him, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially the combination of the two. At least you're not going to be. I don't want it to be so all or nothing with these starts. That's why we don't subtract points for losses, because you've already suffered enough, right? You've got the starter. He doesn't get the start. I mean, doesn't get the win, doesn't get the quality start. Probably didn't have a very good outing. And you also want to tack on the loss. I don't want to do that. It's like it's already harsh enough as it is,
I've had a lot of pitchers go 5.2 innings this year.
Yeah.
It kills me.
Well, I didn't describe it accurately. I don't know, it was like a month ago, but I had Martin Perez pitch for the Pirates.
Yeah.
And he went 6 innings and he had less than 3 earned runs. So they gave me the quality start points on the stat tracker, on Yahoo, the live thing. But so I was like, woohoo! But you can't count on those quality start points until he's out of the game. That's what I said before, that you have to wait to the end of the inning. It wasn't waiting to the end of the inning, it was that he pitched the 7th. And in the 7th, he allowed 3 or 4 runs. So it took away the
quality start.
Was it?
I think you're wrong on that. I think that does not affect.
No, you have to go at least 6, and you have to allow 3 earned runs or less. You don't get a quality
start.
Yeah,
I thought you said I'm sorry. I thought you said he went 7. He gave up the runs in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he went 6 with less than 3 earned runs, so they gave me the points. And then the 7th, he allowed like 3 or 4 runs, so it eliminated
those points right off the board.
I don't know if that's. I'm gonna have to double check on it.
Double check. Yeah, go ahead, because if you pitch 9 innings and you allow 4 runs, it's not a quality start.
Well, if you have to get out of the first 6 innings with
Right.
less than 4. So if runs are tacked on after the 7th inning, I
Doesn't
was of
count.
the very
It's
firm belief that does not affect quality start.
not a quality start. You have to have both those things. At the end of your start, you have to have gone at least 6.
I
and you have
agree.
allowed 3 earned runs or fewer.
Agree. At least you have to go 6 innings with 3 earned runs. But if you go, okay, I will look
No,
that up.
That's
We'll figure
yeah.
this
That's
out later.
that's what's
I'm
wrong.
Well,
gonna
let's
be
put it.
wrong.
Let's look at it this way. It's 6 or more innings, and only 3. They can only give up 3 runs.
That's
Is
what it
what
is.
is what the rule is.
I'd like to look it up, but we can do that later.
Oh, look it up. Look it up.
No, I don't know. I might lose the feed here. Hold on.
He's got to look it up on his phone.
Yeah, unless you can look it up on your computer.
So Yahoo should be less cruel. They shouldn't give you those points until that guy's out of the game. When he's out of the game, then you can bank those points. Anyways, I'll finish up.
Go to the let's go to the Fiend part here with the are we through the players of the week yet?
Not quite yet. Brenton
Oh.
Doyle for the Rockies for Spear.
That was a nice pickup.
Cutter
Yeah.
Crawford for Sombreros, who went 6-0 this week. Nate Eovaldi for the Gags, and I didn't even know he was having a good week. And let's go to the standings. So here we go. Sombreros went 6-0, 539 points. So it was no cheapie either.
Nice.
So Spear gets 531, just gets the 5-1. That's usually you're thinking 500 points, you're going to get 6-0, right? And then the 0-6 was Hack. So Chad had a terrible week, 2.5 weeks outside of the league, and then he had the 0-6 last week.
He's a little preoccupied right now.
So, but we can see.
I'm back. I'll look it up later. I could be totally wrong, but then I was under the belief. Then I'm wrong. I was under the belief that if you got through 6 innings. But anyways, moving forward.
Yeah. No, that would be nice if that was the. It's not.
All right.
Yeah, you got to come out with 3 runs after 6 innings.
All right, fair enough.
So here's
all good.
Let's plays up to 5th, game and a half out of the money. So Spears got to be looking over their shoulder now. And I think you've done pretty well the past.
I think the last 8 weeks is when I've kind of turned the corner.
Yeah. Your last 3 are 12-6. That's pretty good. Last 4 is 15-9. 19-11.
Yeah, last 6, 25-11. It's only.
Yeah, you're in 5th place now. That's a pretty good jump. I mean, you were down like 10th place by me for a while.
I was at the bottom for the first couple weeks.
Yeah, the past 6 and 7 weeks, you're only what? Past 7, you're only 1 game behind Knockers for the best in the past 7.
I love the last 5 there. It's like the Holy Cows, Platinum Sombreros, and myself were trying to be the worst team in the league, and neither one of us is budging.
Last 8, you're only a game behind the Gags. Gags are.
I mean, our points are almost identical for that. But if you go to the last 5, oops. Yeah, see, 8-22, 8-21, 8-22.
You're still
almost
ahead.
the same amount of points.
You're still ahead.
That's weird.
The Cows are 8-22 over the last 5. Jeez, I didn't realize how cold they got.
It's those Gags and the Knocks.
Yeah, Knockers had a 2-4, so definitely drop off from where they what they've done before.
Lou, you're in first place, baby. How about
I
it?
am, but
Yeah.
that damn prediction model still has Satch in first. So I think they must have fewer innings than I do.
Who do you? I'm gonna have to take a closer look at your team. You got any studs coming back?
No, I don't think I
You
have
got your
any
best
reason
team
to
going?
think that. There's no reason to think that I will do better than I'm
So
doing.
you got your best team going right now, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
This is a win, and it's a win its season, huh?
I think I've even got players that I'm expecting won't do as well. So I don't know. I mean, I don't, I have my team's good, but I don't think it's like I'm pulling away now and I'm going to wave goodbye.
No,
You don't
it's
have
too
like a
early in
Garrett
the
Cole
season to
coming off
do.
the IL or anything like that, huh?
Well, you just saw what happened to paging Dr. Satchel before you. He got off to a really big lead and then all of a sudden come trickling back. And then all you had it, you know, where you started coming back, you like surged. So pretty good season so far. It's wild. It's one pony show.
Yeah, but there's no
Pony
there's no player coming back that I'm like dying to have come. I've got pitchers on the IL, but honestly, I don't think that they'll do so much better than who I have in right now. I think I'll be dropping. If they come back, I'll be dropping pitchers that will get scuffed up. So, but
Need to make a trade? Who do you? If I'm a seller this year and you're a buyer, what need? What's your most pressing need on your team?
I guess the last player I have is a corner infield. So my fourth corner infielder is my least, is my worst hitter. But I don't know. My team's not really like that. It's more like Midland. I don't have a terrible spot, but I don't have the heights
Well,
that.
you got Adley Rushman, Pete Alonso. Nico Horner's not had a very good year for you. I know that. I don't know what Michael Garcia is doing. How's he doing? Hold on a
He
second
was doing
here.
a lot better before. He's not doing too well now.
So he's ranked at 67. He can't be doing that bad for you. Bryson Stott, you got from me because I had no patience. Ian Happ is starting to turn it around. He had pretty good games. Brandon Nimmo, he's 32. Got Brian Reynolds at 36, Marcell Ozuna at 13 right now. This is current rankings.
Yeah, like Ozuna,
And then you got
obviously, he's already had his best part
Candelario,
of the year.
Soler,
He's a
Carlos
triple
Santana.
crown candidate, isn't he, Lou?
Was it?
Is he a triple crown candidate?
I think at one point he
Ozuna.
was, but he won't win the triple crown. you know.
Brooker on the bench,
I just
JP
remember he was
Crawford.
a candidate.
Yeah.
The one guy that, like, I mean, the lowest point getter you got is JP Crawford.
Yeah, he was hurt a little while.
Yeah. That's because he's down a few at bats over everybody else here, but
Is he still
Jesus
leading off
Christ,
with
man. I mean,
Seattle?
you've got a lot of guys in the top 150.
Yeah. So like according to me, my worst player is hitter wise is like Carlos Santana. You know, he would be the next most likely guy to get dropped.
Well, Juan Soto might be on the trading block. You got any young, cheap players you could trade?
God,
Cheap what?
why would I put him on the trading block?
Because you told me that. You said you were going to be a seller and you might trade him. Those are your words, not mine.
I know, I'm so fucking back and forth on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, I traded fucking Pete Alonso, and I really regret that ever since.
Well, Pete only has 18 homers.
Well, it's
That's a pace for less than 35 for the year. And I really, even I would have thought that he would have over 40 this year.
you only got 18 homers, you said?
Yeah.
No, fucking Christian Walker has been doing well for me, so that's
I mean, he's doing fine, but he's $55.
Christian Walker's been so great lately that he's now one more home run than Juan Soto. He's got 22.
Yeah. So there you go. Don't worry about the Pete Alonso trade too much.
Yeah, but I'd rather have him than Michael Bush right now. I'll tell you that.
Well, hitting points per game, I guess Gags are on top now. And trailing is Bizzotti. And then let's see where John is. John's right in the middle of the pack. No, that's weight. John's a little bit above average. Points per game played for hitting. Daddies are a little bit above average too. This number is the average number. So that's the minimum. So all those games averages, I will use this as like the baseline of what you would get from your marginal players. So it's not an exact measurement, but it just takes the minimum for a team here. So like it takes Bizzotti's hitting points per games played, and it says that that's what you would get from the level of player that you've used to get over in games. It's just a way not to overstate the games played overages, because when you get rid of these, you're not going to be getting rid of your entire roster's production. You're just going to get rid of that bottom end.
Got it.
And then, so non-save hold pitching points per inning pitched. Satch is on top still. He's been on top all year, I think. And,
Yeah, I mean, it's those middle of the game guys. He's got the starter relievers.
Well, he's got a lot of quality starts too, so he's getting a lot of starts too. It's not just reliever strategy. Daddies have the fewest, and let's play is slightly below average, but more in the middle.
What for the this is pitching, okay?
Yeah,
my pitching's been bad this year.
Was it?
Yeah, my pitching's been really disappointing. The stars I was counting on have not delivered.
Hey man, we're singing the same song here.
Yeah.
I think Gallon that was out on IL, Snell, that's terrible start. I think that had a lot to do with his contract negotiations and shit, but who knows?
Then save hold points. It's like a broken record, Satch is way up. It'd be hard to fathom somebody catching him. He's got what 100 and what is it, 116 points over the next best team. This is just save hold points. So it's not really points, it's not their innings pitched or earned runs, just save holds. And then our expansion team waits till next year is the fewest. So you can see, and I think the gags are next. No. It's let's play. Let's play's the next fewest, and then the gags. So.
Yeah, pitching used to be the first couple of years in the league. Pitching was always my strong point. It's not this year, and because I've been trying to figure out my starting pitching. I've abandoned relievers, and all I've been carrying is closer for St. Louis, and he's been having a great year.
No, that guy's been great.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. But outside of him, I haven't carried one reliever. So
I looked at your team. I looked at your team before we went on, and it is hard the pitching is hard to figure out. Like you're hitting, like you're weighted on base and the runs per game. These are probably the two best stats. You're like 9, so you're in the between the middle and the bottom third. But pitching is definitely harder to figure out. So this line is you. So you're 6th in the ERA, 4th and 5th. So that would indicate that you're probably going to do better in your ERA going forward. But if you looked at runs per game, it's 8th. So it's really hard to say. And then K minus BB percentage, you're 9th. So it's like a lot of mixed messages here. But quality start percentage, you're 2nd, only to Satch. And then your save percentage. So whatever opportunities you're getting, you're 1st. You're leading the league. That's
by one guy.
And that's where are you here? You're 5th. So yeah, it's 80. You're at 80% save percentage. Wait, I thought it said you were 1. Maybe that's not you. Yeah, that's let's play. Oh, you're 6th. 6th. Oh, this is sorted by total points, not by place in the standings. Yeah, you're 91% save percentage, so that's pretty good, right? Our league average is 80%, and for Major League Baseball it was 63% last year. So obviously we should be doing better than Major League's percentage. because hopefully we're choosing the cream of the crop. But yeah, your pitching's hard to figure out. I really do like K minus BB percentage, even though it's limited. It's not including anything about contact or anything, but so it's hard to say. But your FIP is 4th, so I mean, if you want to cherry pick these stats, then you can expect that your ERA will improve.
I think I might. I think I could pick up a couple games, or pick up a couple spots on the leaderboard, but it's all going to depend on my pitching if it comes together, and everyone, of course, stays healthy.
So here's the predicted final standings, and it's not tempered, so it's just treating like what's happened as as 100% correlation. So we can see it says that you're going to go 40-29 the rest of the year, which is only 3 games behind Satch from this point forward. And so where does it have you finishing?
Oh, I haven't know. Can you roll that back again? I haven't taken a look at that before. The stats you were just looking at.
Yeah, so this is this is the actual standings here, and then this based on I don't know this formula. You can see it up there, but based on your predicted remaining points for the year, based on your current pace and getting rid of overages and all that kind of stuff. So you'd be predicted to go 40-29. Yeah. It also likes the cows way down here at 40-29. And it doesn't correct for underages, so I guess it's because a lot of these teams ahead of the cows right now have overages that will have to be corrected. So, but yeah, so it predicts, the rest of the year that you'll be in the top 5 from this point forward. Of course, you're in the top 5 right now, so I guess what you're saying is it's a little wimpy, right? It's not. There's not really too much going on a limb
here. Yeah, I'm not gonna be knocking any doors down, but I should be okay.
But and this predicts you're going to finish 2 behind the McBrides for the money, and of course that's basically nothing. That's basically not any difference. And I know Daddy's talked about their how people are way over in innings. Wait till next year is the most over in innings, and the Daddies are not the most under, but they're 22 under. So this has it, even though Wait is ahead of Dad's right now in the standings, that it's it's basically a tie by the end of the year. So just wait till next year has a few percentage points ahead. So they're predicted for 63.4, and Daddies are at 63.0. So, anyways, but this is just meant to let you know where you stand with because you can inflate where you are with a lot of innings, right? A lot of games in some cases too. So, but it still has Satch winning, but now it's down to 101 wins. This would be Satch's lowest win total in years. so that would be nice. But predicted that he'll still come out on top. Well,
yeah, I was just checking out your team, John. I was just you don't have any relievers in there. You're missing 2 relievers.
Mm-hmm. I'm I have this pool of starting pitchers, and it's a Survivor Island situation where eventually I'm gonna have to the best ones sort themselves out, and I will start dropping them and pick up the relievers.
Yeah,
I mean, this league with the holds.
Note to self: John's going to trade pitchers.
Come, please. The store is open.
Holds aren't worth quite as much as saves, but this league is a lot more forgiving. You don't have to just have the closer. You could have the top setup guy. He gets a few saves, and then he also gets holds. So, but yeah, you do have the number 1 relievers. As far as save hold points, Helsley. Daddies have two in the top 6 here, Finnegan and Iglesias. You know, Sombreros, the pride of the Sombreros, the class of the Sombreros. That was Jeff's pun last week, I think. But let's see if Let's Play's got some hitters in here. Well, you got Otani.
Yeah.
He's number
Yeah.
2. He's the number 2 hitter. Only Aaron Judge has more points than him. Otani's also number 2.
Henderson's having.
Otani's also number 2 in points, including everybody. So it's Judge and Otani. And that's Otani not even pitching, right? Well,
Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't count on this. He's separate guys in our league. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like that's it for hitters for Let's Play. What about starting pitchers? You've got to have somebody in here, right? Tanner Houck.
I've got.
Yeah, you got Houck. He's like what is that? 7th, 8th, 7th?
Yeah.
And the points have settled into a more comfortable place for me. I was worried that I bit off more than we could chew with the quality starts change, but it's I'm glad that Lugo doesn't have more points than Aaron Judge, so that makes me feel better. Daddies, Witt and Soto, they've been up here forever. Christian Walker, there you go. Right, I don't see Pete Alonso up here.
He's sneaking up there.
So I think not that I traded you Walker for Alonso, but I don't think you should be ruining the Alonso trade too much.
No. I still miss that big Panda Bear though.
Vital Marte.
He's the polar bear, not the panda bear.
Polar Bear, that's right. Panda Bear was what's his name? Sandoval.
Yeah. Right. Daddy's, you got any pitchers? Jake Irvin.
Jake Irvin, man.
He's been good.
Picked him up off the scrap heap about third,
Yep.
fourth weekend, and then it was just like, hey man, you keep pitching like that, you're gonna have a job here.
Yeah.
He faced the Mets. He did well. I looked at his, the quick glance at his stats when they were starting the game. He's not a dominant kind of pitcher. He doesn't strike out more than a batter an inning, but he's keeping his walks down and he's doing well.
That Washington staff is all right. They're pitching coaching, whatever program they got or whatever how they evaluate talent in Washington, they seem to have an understanding.
Yeah, I wonder if they have somebody new in there. Do you know?
The staff's good. I don't know.
Because like Josiah Gray has not really turned out as good as I thought he would. He's been hurt, but he was
that's the problem. I mean,
he was a converted position player, so there's not a lot of mileage on his arm. So I really thought once he figured it out, he was going to be good to go.
He's with the Yankees. He came up with the Dodgers, right?
Yes. Right. So is that in the Scherzer?
Was he part of the? What trade was he part of?
In the Scherzer trade, right?
I can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he came up through the Dodgers organization.
Yeah, but he started pitching in college. He was a position player and converted late in his college career. I think he pitched in college. I don't think it was after that, but he didn't. He's not one of these guys that's pitched all his life. So I thought that sounded good because, a guy like that you could understand wouldn't be, a guy like that would be more of a late bloomer. And once he figured out he'd have an advantage over some of these guys the same age as him, even.
He's a real Brooks Krishnik.
That's the same with who's the Atlanta pitcher who was a quarterback or something along those lines? Al Shaver, Smith Shaver,
Smith, whatever.
That guy. I think he was a 2-athlete guy too.
Oh, I didn't know he was converted.
Yeah, I think he played college football. Quarterback, obviously.
JT Realmuto was
maybe,
college
or maybe
football.
high school. It was probably high school football. I'm sure he didn't play college football, but I think he was a high school quarterback. Anyways, he
I'm
hasn't been
pretty
doing
sure.
as well as everyone. He was like a really hot prospect. That a lot of people had their eyes on. He hasn't put it together yet.
You know, I know Real
For
Muto.
a little bit.
I'm pretty sure Real Muto played quarterback in college, and I think that's I've read. I wish I could recall it better, but that was the advantage that this scout had is that when he saw him play, he was worried that he was going to get discovered by everybody else, but he had an alternate path. He wasn't, he was a college football player. Geez, I hope I'm right on. I hope I'm right on that.
It's a very appealing narrative that would have be a star in two different sports.
Yeah.
It means it suggests a versatility and like a I don't know. The narrative is very attractive that he was a star in two sports.
He's a good athlete. He's got
Yeah.
speed and he's got a good arm.
And essentially developing different muscle sets too, and coordination skills.
All right. Well, we got enough of the players here. I think we looked at everybody. What else did I put on here? I put MLB Buddha or Major League Buddha. So I'll just point out a few teams that stand out. So according to run differential, so take it for what it is. Just it's not necessarily a prediction, but Tampa's been. Let's see the teams that are maybe
Incredibly lucky.
Going ahead of their skis. Yeah, Tampa and Cubs fans will like this. The Cardinals. So according to this run differential, Cardinals should be 41 and 48 and 47 and 42. So don't be surprised. The Cubs are only 6 games behind them. Don't be surprised if the Cubs finish ahead of the Cardinals. In fact, don't be surprised if all these teams finish ahead of the Cardinals. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals actually finish last in that division. It'll be tight, but and then let's see who's getting booted. So the teams that are getting booted are the White Sox.
But, they keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, that could be, yeah. They could be booting themselves.
Yep.
And
dude, that's what's killing the Cubs, man. That bullpen. There can't be anything more discouraging and morale killing than having a lead late in the game and having the bullpen blow it. That's brutal, and it's been happening so many times.
Kopech had a terrible day. Was it just Sunday? I think it was. He's on my team, so I think he had -10 or something. From the reliever. You got to let up a lot of runs to go -10 as a reliever.
Right.
Look at Kansas City should be 52.
You need to have stamina. Anyone can be a drunk. It takes stamina to be alcoholic. Yeah, it's amazing when a reliever gives up that many points. It's crazy.
Yeah, this AL Central, you can see it's like Kansas City run differential should be 2 back. Minnesota should be 4 back. So this is really up for grabs with those 3 teams.
So, John, you're saying you wouldn't want Hector Neris?
Oh God, dude! I mean, it's I can't believe they can't solve this. I mean,
They're pitching better lately.
I don't know.
But look at this in the
That's
AL
the thing.
West.
When it's a closer and they go through a little spout, bad shit, it's amplified that much more.
Yeah, of course. That's why you need to spend the money. You need a good closer if you're going to be a contender. There's just no way around it.
True. Also, they didn't start the year off good either. Go ahead, Lou. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. In the AL West, you can see that according to this run differential, Houston would be on top, and Texas and Seattle would be 3 back. So this is another division. AL Central and AL West. That's 3 teams that's totally up for grabs.
That's Ronel Blanco, baby. Ronel Blanco from the Bronx.
Yeah, and then in the NL Central, I mean, I guess according to run differential, it says that Milwaukee will win the division. but second through fifth, that could really be anywhere. I guess it likes the Reds the most. But isn't it funny? I mean, it likes the Cubs more than the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are in second, and the Cubs are in last.
Likes us more than Pittsburgh too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think Jed Hoyer's ass is on the line right now.
I'll tell you what, Craig Counsell, man, I don't know if it's his demeanor or I had some early questions about how he used the pitching staff early in the season. Um, I don't know. What's your take on Counsell, you guys?
Oh, I've said this several times before. I think maybe the real brains of the operation was his bench coach who took over the Brewers after he left. I think this team was on a trajectory with Ross, and I think bringing him in and canning Ross for no good reason probably didn't sit well with the players.
They
But
spent a lot of
what
money
the
on
fuck
him.
do I know?
No, I
I
think
I
mean,
don't know.
this
I haven't. There's been some moves early in the season and throughout that I really question. Um, that kind of struck me as like, well, I don't know if that's the right move there. And this is supposed to be, a top flight, manager. And then his demeanor, man. I think a manager's got to smile maybe once in a while. I know there hasn't been a whole lot to smile about. Jesus, God, my goodness,
well, here's the thing
smile,
too, though.
relax. I don't know.
The Cubs strike out way too fucking much. That's just the biggest problem at all.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's pretty bad.
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch the Cubs, so I don't know that Counsell's the reason. But you could think what I think and still disagree with them replacing Ross last year, unless you guys as Cubs fans, watch a hell of a lot more Cubs baseball than I do, and unless you could point to a lot of questionable choices that he made, I think that that's a bad thing to do. And as long as the players like him and he's a catcher, which they usually like with managers because they have a hand in all the facets of the game, pitching, hitting, and fielding, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just and he was very expensive.
Very
Like,
expensive.
that's
Spend a lot of money.
that's a $8 million is a decent player to add to your team, or at least going toward a really good player,
If you're trying to push through your neighbor, you're the one.
A top 10 middle reliever, maybe.
maybe. So, but I don't know. I mean, if they were doing well, which I think they could be, even with Counsell, then it's harsher because they're not doing well. And I don't know that I don't know that he's the reason, but
Swanson batting 200 ain't helping either.
yeah, I was jealous of that signing. The Cubs got Swanson for reasonable years, reasonable money. I know he's not maybe as good as Francisco Lindor, but for the money, I liked it a lot better.
Gold Glove, has pop. His his StatCast page has been really good in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I know Hoyer will take the fall. Maybe not as early as this year, but certainly by next year. If this happened next year, he'd be gone for sure. But it's funny, I looked at the moves he did, and I pretty much liked everything. So what can you do? But I mean, like I said last week, results are the most important part. If the results aren't there, then you got to blame the guy at the top.
And I still, man. If you watch it, just check out Counsell's body language. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. It's not vibey.
The Mets. They thought the Mets were going to get him because of the relationship with Stearns, and when they didn't get him, I was glad. Now, I wasn't so in love with the guy that they did hire, but I just I don't believe this great manager stuff. You know, like I said, it's like case by case basis. If the team, if the players like him and respond to him and don't play stupid baseball, then
The dude has never been to a World Series, has he?
who, Council?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think the Brewers.
exactly.
Did
And
he
he
play
was
for
there
the
how long?
Diamondbacks? Did he play for the Diamondbacks?
He played with the Marlins. Oh yeah, as a player, he might have played in the World Series. Like, you know,
Yeah, I'm gonna run the dog out real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. This is the point in the show where I just like take off for a few minutes.
usually you do it right before I go over the standings.
Hey, so let's talk about the Mets, man. I think they're looking good. I think their offense is killing right now. How do you like that lineup?
I like it fine. I mean, before the year started, I thought the Mets were a 500 team, maybe a little bit above 500. And I don't know. I guess that's what I think they are now too.
I think, well, if you statistically speaking, they're one of the hottest hitting teams in baseball right now. OPS, and then and they play, and that's in a park that isn't famous for propping up hitting stats.
Right.
And
And
I like
better
what
than
they're
it
doing.
was. It's much more neutral than it was when it opened. They've like
Okay.
moved in the fences at least 2 times that I can remember.
Okay. And then as far as like I like how they're developing their pitchers. There's a lot to be positive about the Mets. Where do you have the Mets finishing on this thing on the NL East?
Well, this isn't a prediction. This is just their right. Their record is 500. They lost today, but and it says they should be 500. But the Mets haven't really disappointed. This is about the level that they're at. You know, they've got pitchers that even ones that have done well. You know, I look at the first thing I look is the strikeouts per innings. I look at the walks per innings. You know, those are the first two I look at. And they've got guys that are very underwhelming. You know, like even if the ERA is decent, you just feel like, yeah, I don't know about that one. And even Adrian Hauser, they got from the Brewers,
Yeah, he's a middling guy.
he's been demoted, you know, to the bullpen. And just
Yeah.
the other day, the Mets announcer Gary Cohen said he's just found new life here in the bullpen, you know, because he's whatever his ERA was since he's been demoted to the bullpen. But if you look at his strikeouts per nine, it's like I don't even know if it's like above 5. I mean, he's really getting by. You can do it, but everything's got to go perfect, right? He's not blowing anybody away.
So who are the first three? Okay, let's go through what's the Mets rotation? What's the top of the rotation? I'm trying to think.
I guess Severino would be number one,
Yeah.
but they have Sean Manaea.
Yeah, I guess they're not that great at pitching. I think they have some
I'm
good.
probably forgetting somebody. They have Tyler
You
McGill, and he
know,
got sent to the minors.
when I was reading about their pitching, I came across something, and I think they were talking about the development of the younger pitchers is going really
Christian
well.
Scott. They have Christian Scott, and he's looked good. I mean, he hasn't looked great, but you know, he's looked good. I mean, it's his first year, but he's not blowing anybody away really. You know, he's
It's their
doing all right.
offense, though. It's really clicking, though. Like if you go to the FanGraph page, and they're like leading it. If you look at the last whatever 30 days, blah blah, they're like leading. They're right there at the top of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, their offense is all right. I mean, they're really just an average team. You know, not far from average anyway. Even if they're a little bit above.
You hate the Mets.
No, I mean they're just.
I'm trying to put some. I'm trying to say some good things, and is the New Yorker in you? You won't take a compliment? No, I think the Mets offense
They're
is
not
really good.
bad. They're just an average team, but I think that that's kind of what they set out to do this year anyway. They didn't want to tank and have no interest in the team, but you're trotting out. I wish I had it before, but I did the fan graphs. It's not my opinion, I just did the fan graphs projections, and I went through the run differential. I think I predicted the Mets would have 82 wins. You know, it's not very exciting, right? But I think that's where they are. They're good in some ways, and they're mostly just average.
Run differential is a metric for a team metric, but I'm just talking about their batting. I think their batting is really good right now. I think they got some good things going on, don't they? Their lineup? No, maybe not. Maybe I read it wrong.
When Francisco Alvarez is in, they got an above average hitting catcher. You got Alonso, Lindor. They've got good players, but they're not. It doesn't add up to too much above average. And their pitching is
I like their third baseman.
Vientos.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
Yeah, it's funny. Vientos is the kind of guy that, B.E.E.R was really supposed to be the third baseman. Vientos has power, and he's supposed to be kind of a butcher at third. But I've seen it so many times when you've got these when you've got highly touted third basemen, the Mets in particular. I remember like Josh Satin. Do you remember that name from 8 years ago or something?
And to your point, no.
But that's what I thought Vientos would be. I thought he'd just be another like these promising power hitting third baseman that they're in the league for a few years and then they're gone. But Vientos is he's pretty impressive. I'm not comfortable enough to say like, man, he's definitely going to make it, but he does hit homers like to dead center. Which is important because he was pulling his homers before, and when he was doing that, he was striking out a lot. So if you got a guy that has the power to hit the center, he's watching that ball, that extra that extra millisecond or whatever, and it helps on the strikeouts. And he's got the power to still hit the homers. So definitely there's some promise there. I would not have thought that even just a couple of months ago. I wasn't too confident. Of course, I guess I'm not that confident on B.E.E.R either. I mean, B.E.E.R went down to the minors and he's had some good production down there, but
he's been crushing it. He's been crushing it in the minors.
He had a good shot here. It's not like he had an extended look last year and this year, and it wasn't that good.
So, are you seeing the screen? Are you seeing the baseball reference screen on Mark Vientos? Just because I overrode your screen.
You know what?
Share.
I never stopped my share. I'm sorry. Yeah, we could have been talking with big faces here. I'm sorry.
Are you guys seeing it?
Yeah.
There you go. See, look at the OPS is at 892.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
8. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jeez. Even with my reading glasses, it's hard for me to see. Okay, yeah. 92. His career 718, so it wasn't too good before, right?
Well, he's only got 156 at bats. I mean, this guy should probably be in the lineup every day.
He is.
But for his career OPS to be 718, it was pretty bad. He still, has the majority of his bats before this year. So I can't say I'm sold on him, but I am impressed. There's reason to think that, yeah, he will be the guy and not B.E.E.R necessarily, right? Because, well, who knows? If the Mets trade Alonso, maybe they put Vientos at first.
All right, you ready? Yes, and I think right, exactly, and I think if I'd give B.E.E.R one more look if I was the Mets because he's crushing it in triple. Maybe he's
definitely getting another look.
Yeah, he could be triple. He could be the classic triple 4A because he's dominating in Triple A. Maybe he's not a major leaguer. But to the point earlier, in the last 30 days, the Mets have the fourth highest OPS in all of baseball. It goes Minnesota, Baltimore, Arizona, then Mets with a team OPS of .805, ahead of the Dodgers, ahead of Philadelphia, ahead of Boston, ahead of Houston, ahead of the Yankees. That's the last 30 days. They're on fire, dude. They're playing great. Their hitters are killing it.
Yeah.
That's because of Grimace.
Yeah, there's a thing, right? They found out how to have fun in baseball again. There you go.
Yeah, all you gotta do is let your milkshake.
So McDonald's paid Cohen all this money to have stupid Grimace throughout the first pitch. And now they're giving McDonald's all this like free publicity with like Grimace this and
In the
I'll tell you what,
stands.
you fucking Mets fans really love your cling on to your little shit. Like, like that Tommy Trumpet.
yeah.
Now it's Grimace. There's got to be others out there. There's got to be a couple other things that they were really going after.
Yeah, stuff like
Who
that
was
drives me a little crazy. I mean,
It's like
I
picking
spend more
something out of
money at
thin air and
McDonald's,
clinging
I
to
bet you,
hope.
than anybody else in the beer league. I do. I go there almost every weekday.
what?
I do. I go to McDonald's at least 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, sometimes 5
You've
times.
seen that. You've seen that. You've seen the movie Super Size Me, right?
Yeah, that guy's dead.
You can't eat McDonald's 5 days a week, brother.
The whole premise of that documentary was so ridiculous. I could go to the Jewel.
Don't
And
just hear me through. Just
I
hear.
could go to the
Just hear the
Jewel
forest
and
for the
load up
trees.
on stuff that's unhealthy for me. I mean, it was such a poorly constructed documentary. It's been
All right. Well, clearly,
You got
clearly, I
the
didn't make my
jewels
point.
out there?
McDonald's is poison. Anyways, hey, going back to the Mets, looking at the slugging. Now here's the league slugging percentage of the last 30 days. New York Mets are third with a .469 slugging, right behind Baltimore and Minnesota, and ahead of the Dodgers. Mets are good, man. Their hitting's crushing. All right, enough of that. Enough of bragging on your Mets.
well, I mean, it's a month, you know.
Okay. All right. Let me go back 2 months then. Why won't you take my Mets love? You're fighting it so hard.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that they're a bad team. I'm just saying that you add everything up and you get an average team. That's not terrible.
I'm talking about their hitting. Their hitting's really good.
Yeah. Their hitting might be average to slightly above average.
For the season, they're 12th. Up and wait, hold on. If you take away the first couple months, well, if you add the whole season, where are they at? They're the 11th best team in OPS for the season.
So they're like in the middle,
Top
in the
third.
middle, the 10th.
They're top third. All right, I give up. No,
No,
they're
they're out of the
third.
top third.
I
They're
give up.
below
Enough
the
about
top
Mets.
third.
I give up. Anyways,
I watch them. I watch them all. Parts of every game probably. But,
So yeah, this caught me
except when they're
by
on Apple
surprise.
TV.
L.A. De La Cruz has the most strikeouts of anybody in the major leagues at 121 this far through the season. Holy Moses. Holy friggin' Moses. That's like Rob Deere, or like, is it Rob Deere? Who was another
Kingman.
big strikeout guy?
Kingman.
Dave
Kingman.
He was a feast or famine dude, but neither one of them were as fast as a deer like this dude because he's fucking there in stolen bases at 43, despite of it.
I want him on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how many stolen bases he would have if he had like any contact skills at all.
Crazy.
He
And
gets
how
on
about
first.
Stephen fucking
He gets on
Kwan?
first. He's still second and third.
Home. Yeah.
Look at this guy. I think we went over him last week, but man, what a season this guy's having. On base percentage of 419, OPS at 956. And he's got 9 home runs for like a guy that nobody ever thought would have any power whatsoever. And batting 364 on top of it. Just nuts.
Good player.
Damn
Who are you
good
talking
player.
about?
Stephen Kwan.
Who are you talking about?
Juan?
Kwan.
For the Indians?
Yo, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you another that Cleveland team. I really like that John Kenzie. What's his name?
He just
John
got called
Kenzie.
up, right?
Yeah, I'm a Cleveland fan, so
I don't know
there's a
anything
place in my
about
heart.
him. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I spent the first 12 years of my life there, but he's he's definitely.
What were you rooting for between in the Indians?
Mean the Guardians?
The Guardians now, yeah, that was the Indians back then.
Oh, who was I rooting for in the World Series?
Ah,
I had converted to the Cub. I would have been happy if either team won, but I was happier that the Cubs won.
okay.
That's the way I was. I mean, it's hard to root against the Indians, but the Cubs hadn't won in so damn long, and I had the store right by Wrigley, so I had to have some feeling for
Right.
the Cubs. Even though when I was in Chicago, I raised my son to be a Sox fan. I didn't know we were moving here, so we were Sox guys. But I never did take him to Wrigley. I feel bad about
My
it. Should have at least taken him.
my mom is a South Sider, and her uncle used to take her to um all the ball games. And when she was an orphan, and she was raised by her aunt and her uncle. And when he would go on business trips, he would bring her along during the summertime to like a Detroit game or a Cleveland game, and she saw them on the road to a point where some of the players, when my mom was like 14 years old, started recognize her, like, because she'd be reading a book in the lobby while her uncle was doing his sales business. And Jungle Jim Rivera, who was the right fielder for the White Sox, when they went to the World Series back in 58, 59, whenever it was, asked my mom out on a date when she was 14 years old. That that didn't happen, but he ended up giving my mom tickets to the World Series. So my mom went to the World Series on Jungle Jim Rivera's tickets.
Wow.
Why
How
do they
about
call
that?
him Jungle Jim?
I know, right? Anyways, my mom went to that World Series.
Let's look up Jungle Jim Rivera. Jim Rivera.
Do it.
my my cousin Doreen, their family lived in Milwaukee, and she went out with Robin Yount
Oh
on a
yeah.
date. I guess it would be the early '80s or late. I can't remember what time period it was. Maybe it was
It's
more
right
like
here.
Maybe it was more like late '70s. Was Yount playing on the Brewers in the late '70s? But anyways,
Uh, that's see, he might have been just starting out rookie. Yeah, first
she
couple
said
years.
that it wasn't a glowing review. She said he was, just very full of himself, and he was expecting that, he was going to, get her in bed or
Sure,
whatever. And
sure.
she thought
He was gonna round the bases.
yeah, she thought he was a real dick.
he
That was her review.
he wasn't even getting to first, and here he was thinking he was gonna round the bases.
So Jungle
And
Jim
so my
basically was
mom
a
also.
very mediocre
Oh,
player.
here's the point I wanted to get to too. So my mom had a baseball signed by Minnie Minoso and Louis Aparicio and all of them, and she lost. And somewhere along the lines, it got yeah, she lost that. But so my mom's a huge White Sox fan. So when I moved to Chicago, and I was an Indians fan, so wasn't easy for me to embrace the White Sox. And when I first moved to Chicago, the first during that summer, the first Cubs game I watched was the fucking Ryan Sandberg game, and I
84?
was
Oh my God.
yeah. And that actually, the reason why I watched that, my mom, we were playing outside. My mom came running in the backyard, and she goes, "You got to come in and see this," because he had already hit the home run to tie it. So my mom was watching. My mom watches every Hawks game. For my mom's birthday, I got Pat Foley to wish her happy birthday. You can do
Yeah, you told
celebrity
us that
thing.
last
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
right?
Oh, sure.
right. So she's a huge sports fan, and she's watching the Cubs game. She got you got to come in because it was on GN, and I watched Sandberg hit that second home run, and the place go nuts. And then I was a Cubs fan, and but I never hated the Sox. I always I don't mind. I'm not one of those Chicago people that hates the White Sox.
I'm the
I have a
same way.
place. I have a place in my heart for both teams. So
Well, we're fortunate to have two teams in Chicago. I have no problem supporting them both. When they
right,
play each other, I'll just, root for the home team that day. You know,
okay,
big deal.
right, yeah.
You strike me
I
as
want
more of a Cubs guy, though, right, Jeff? I mean,
I like both teams. I just wish the White Sox would actually put a product out on the field people could be proud of,
yeah.
or at least try.
It's too bad that you can't even use like ownership to like break the tie, they both have owners that are hard
Right,
to like.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, at
Wrigley,
least I've
Wrigley,
got to
Wrigley's,
see it.
Wrigley's a better experience.
Yeah, I've got to see every team that we have win a world championship, and I feel fortunate about that. We had the White Sox in 2005, we had the Cubs in 2016, we had the Blackhawks 3 Stanley Cups, we've had the Bulls 6 championships, and we've had who am I missing here?
85 Bears, baby.
And the '85 Bears. Yeah, was all about that. I just wish, I hope another one's on the way soon because God, oh God, that'd be good. We
That
got to see him go to I've got to see the Blackhawks go to the Stanley Cup 4 times, and the Bears got to go to the the Super Bowl twice. Yeah, yeah. I've lived in a good sports era in Chicago compared to a lot of other people that missed out on a lot of this shit, that were diehard fans.
that 2005 series, I was still living in Chicago, and my son was like, well, I guess I can do the math. He was 4, and I think
Okay.
we had been to 1 or 2 Sox games by then, and they won the series in October. But he wasn't aware of them. So when the Sox won, I like went by the road on my way to work. There was like set up, souvenir sales and all this, So I bought all this stuff. I taped those games on, VHS tapes, and I bought all these souvenirs, because I figured when he was older, we were going to be he was going to be a big Sox fan. And it was only a few weeks later that I found out that we're probably going to move to Connecticut. And so before I moved, I gave all that stuff to my boss at the time. He was a big Sox fan. He went to one of the World Series games, and because I knew that if we moved to Connecticut, there was no way I was going to be able to keep the whole Sox thing going. Although still, I think that's would be his second favorite team. Mine too. Like Mark Burley. Boy, when
Yep.
you had a 3 or 4 year old kid, you couldn't ask. You couldn't. This is before the pitch clock. You couldn't ask for a
What
better pitcher than
exactly?
Mark Burley. He'd pitch a game in under 2 hours sometimes.
Exactly.
You got a kid with a short attention span. It was just a godsend. But I loved Burley. Anyways, not just the
He
short.
was a great fielder. That's the other thing too. We've seen some really good fielding pitchers in this town. I mean, Burley on the White Sox, great fielding pitcher.
Maddox.
Maddox on
Maddox.
the Cubs back in the day, great fielding pitcher.
The
Even with
best, the
Atlantic,
best ever, dude. He's the best ever. I think he's the most gold gloves of any pitcher.
yeah. Well, he pitched a lot longer than Burley did. But I mean, I don't know how many Burley got. Well, actually, let's look it up. I
When you
got
win a
this.
Gold Glove as a pitcher, they'll just give it to you every year after that until you retire. So
Yeah. In
like,
Maddox
I don't know.
in
I don't
Maddox
know. Oh, Greg Maddox.
Oh,
He's
you
all right. Yeah, let's give it to.
Okay,
Yeah.
Burley was a full 4-time Gold Glove pitcher, and well, from 2000 to 2015, 4 times. And let's see,
Maddox 19.
Was an 18-time Gold Glove winner. Holy shit!
Yeah,
And he was
I don't know if they're doing their math every year with
he
that.
played 23 years. 18 of those years, he was a Gold Glove pitcher. That's stupid.
You just look at the highlight reel one time. It's all justified. And if you look at the way he delivered the ball, he always finished. He didn't finish falling off the mound. He finished with both feet and his shoulders square to the batter's box at the end of his delivery. So he's always in a position to field the ball. All right,
Yeah, the
talking
Cubs
about
made
bad ownership. Talking about bad ownerships too. This is topical. We were just talking about, the draft season was just here, and all this excitement about, the Bears' #1 draft pick. So here are the Bears draft picks let's start with what year is this? Let's start with 79. They went Dan Hampton, then Al Harris, Otis Wilson, Keith Van Horn, Jim McMahon, Jumbo Colbert, Willie Galt, Wilbur Marshall, William Barry, Neil Anderson, Jim Harbaugh, Brad Muster, Wendell Davis, and Trace Armstrong, Mark Harrier too. All right. And then watch what happens around 1994. These are the first Bears first round
John
draft picks.
Theory.
Yes, John Theory. There you go. Rasheen Salam.
Rashaan Salam. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. Then we've got a thing called Curtis Enos.
Oh
we've
my
got
God.
We've got a Cade McNown. We've got an outliner. Then we have Brian Urlacher, but then it goes back to Mark Colombo, Michael Haynes. Who?
They actually fucked up with that one. Mark Colombo. They actually gave up on him real too soon. He was a mainstay in the Cowboys line for a long time.
Yeah, you're right. But he didn't develop with the.
You skipped P.T. Willis.
Oh, he wasn't a first round draft pick. Michael, how about this? Rex Grossman, Cedric Benson.
Cedric Benson is dead.
Oh my God, Shea McClanahan. I mean,
that was terrible. He was supposed to be a second round pick.
Kevin White, Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, well, those are two back to back that were the most terrible fucking picks ever.
Isn't that amazing? And this is like the Chicago Bears supposed to be a flagship, franchise. The Hallis.
And then we let Rashaan Salam or Rashaan. What's this? Well, the middle linebacker. That went to the Ravens.
Who is it?
Hold on. Roquan Smith.
He's good, but they got rid of him.
I had to look at a little signed mini helmet.
But don't you think some of this is like, it's not that the Bears can't draft well. It's like you wonder, like, if Mitch Trubisky even had gone to a different situation, maybe it would have been all right,
No.
I mean, like, some of it is that they've lost the ability to turn these guys into good players, right? I mean, like, to think that they can't, that they are not as good at other teams as like picking the players. Yeah,
to answer the question on Mitch Trubisky.
What is it?
To answer that question, I think they just missed. He's clearly a running quarterback. They should have used him more like a who's the guy from Baltimore? MVP from Baltimore, the quarterback.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
What the hell's his name?
Oh God.
MVP. Took him to the Super Bowl.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay, so if they had used Trubisky as a running quarterback like that, because I thought his running skills are exceptional, but they try to make him a pocket passer, which is exactly what he's not. So, and then because he wasn't a pocket passer, then they drafted Justin Fields, who is also a running quarterback first, and they don't want him to run. It's just the philosophy, the coaching is crazy.
Yeah.
That's my take anyway.
I just can't say anything about it. I'm just in awe of how. You know what though? I feel much better with Pace and Nagy and all those guys gone. I like what Poles and Eberflus are building here, and I see it. And they've got more draft capital coming to them next year. So I mean, it's not a number one pick, but it's a number two from Carolina, and I'm not expecting them to burn down the world. There's some quality players in the beginning of like the second round. So I'm thinking the Bears possibly could be I say this every fucking year, playoff potential.
Well, they got Rome Dunze. That's how you say Odunze. They've got their receiving core looks respectable.
Very much so.
We'll see what happens.
I think they've helped out the line a little bit. They brought in a couple of veterans and stuff like that, and some good guys that are like around 27, 28, that are like kind of been in the league a few years, both middle interior linemen. So we'll see. That guy from Yale, that tackle from just outside the city here, he's supposed to be a beast too. So who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows how it's all going to come together? I guess we'll find out on Hard Knocks.
Are they on
Yeah,
Hard Knocks
right.
this year?
They're on Hard Knocks this year, yeah.
But it's like it's one of two possibilities, right? You've got some teams that are they're just better at picking players from in the draft than other teams, or everybody is about the same as far as they assess the players, and they're
Yep.
just teams that are better at bringing it out. Like, do you think if the Bears had taken Brock Purdy that he would reach the heights that he's reached? Or the
No,
Jets?
You know,
You know what I mean?
Lou, that's fair and
that's
noted.
very fair.
But also you got to recognize too that when they drafted Trubisky, he had only started 7 college games at quarterback, and they used a first round draft, a number one
That's
draft.
no number
Traded
two.
up-
Well,
they
number
traded
one,
up
two
for him.
overall.
They traded up for him for a guy who started 7
Well,
games.
look at the Jets. They took Zach Wilson too. He
Yeah,
played in a lesser conference. He wasn't in a top conference. He's playing like Western Kentucky, those kind of teams. I think he only started 1 year. And they took him number 2. And he's
well, here's the thing that
he's not a tall guy. I mean, like, there's a lot of things to like. Yeah, he could be good, but like with that pick, you can't be taking chances.
You gotta go all chalk. It's gotta be as chalky as you can get with the first round pick. You don't take any, you don't roll the dice with a first round draft pick in the NFL.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
Zach had
not that
gone to a
high.
different team, maybe it would have worked out differently. But and it might work out differently for him. I think he's in Denver now, but he already might be ruined. Like, I mean, he might never have
He's
had
with
the
his third
destiny anyway.
team.
But
He's with his fourth team now, or back with the second.
who?
Look, he went from the Bears to the Bills, then to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now I think he's back with the Bills again as a backup. But if he was any good, he'd stick, and he'd be somebody else's starting quarterback. But he can't do it.
So
You
I
know?
guess my point is, and I'm not making. I don't know enough to really make any sort of analysis on it. But my point is, if the Bears haven't corrected what they're not doing right in house, it's almost not going to matter who they actually draft.
Agreed.
Because
Agreed.
it shouldn't be taking so damn effing long for them to rebuild and
Find a quarterback.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and I'm a Jets fan. The Jets obviously have admitted that they can't do it either. So we're gonna push all our chips in on Aaron Rodgers, just so we can win, one Super Bowl and then go another 50 years, 55 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you compare all the Bears quarterbacks that have started versus obviously you've all seen the comp, the Packers. They've had 3 guys 30, 40 years.
No. Did you just hear? Did you just see that 24-year-old rookie this year that the Packers? No, it was the Vikings. The Vikings had this cornerback. It was a Kyrie Jackson or something like that. The kid just died before the first training camp. He'd been to OTAs and stuff like that. They were just ready. It was like a 4th round draft pick, and he just that was this last weekend. Yeah, yeah. He was a rookie. He was a 4th round pick this year, and it's just that sucks.
Oh, it's terrible.
You get right. Yeah, you get right to where you're living your dream. You're about to live your dream, and then you get snuffed out like that.
He was killed. I believe he was killed with 2 of his high school teammates.
And he wasn't driving the car; he was a
3 young
passenger.
guys died. Right? It's just terrible.
Yeah.
I feel lucky that with all the chances that we took in high school and after.
Crazy, dude.
That nothing
Fucking
bad ever
crazy.
happened, you know. I mean,
Oh, it's the fact that the
Unfucking-believable.
way
it's
we
just a
ran feral back in the day and
it was
just
just
doing
a roll of
stupid
the
shit.
dice, you know. You know, you're stupid
Crazy.
back then. Well, you're not. I don't know if you're stupid, but you're not smart yet. You know.
We were talking about this the other day. Maybe kids are smarter. We're smarter back then. We were talking about this the other day. We were talking about first concert, and the first concert I ever went to was at Poplar Creek when we just moved to Chicago. I was in 6th grade, and the kids, I didn't know anybody, new kid in school. Kids behind me had an extra ticket to go see Eric Clapton at Poplar Creek. Right, we're 6th graders, and this is before. This is significant too. This is before Clapton did the unplugged thing, so he hadn't had his renaissance, right? So he was kind of like a washed out 70s guy. He wasn't the reborn 7 Grammys acoustic album, Born Again, whatever. Clapton. All I knew about him was I Shot the Sheriff and Cocaine. Those are the only songs I knew because they played on the loop, right? That's all I knew about him. I didn't have any older brothers, and I'm the oldest. So I told my parents, and they were just happy I made a friend, that had some. I was included in something, so they let us go. Right. One set of parents dropped us off at Poplar Creek, a 45-minute drive or whatever it was. Another set of parents came back to pick us up after the show, and this was all done without cell phones with 6th graders. Can
Oh
you
yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine the logistics of
that's a young first concert, 6th grade. That's pretty good.
and listen to I mean, so here's one parent. They didn't go to the concert with us. They dropped us off. And
Mhm.
somehow we were told, and we're not from the neighborhood. It wasn't like, oh, pick us up by the old oak tree. You know what I mean? Our parents, no one knew the logistics of it and a concert and people piling out. And somehow we found the other set of parents that picked us up. So we got to the show, and we were the only kids there. We were the only kids there. And I was afraid it was all going to be bikers and people smoking pot.
Who was
And it was
playing?
all bike. Eric Clapton. This is in
Okay.
1984. This is the Behind the Sun. This is the Behind the Sun tour, which was kind of a comeback album for him. Because he had been really heavy in the drugs right in the late 70s, and he was just getting healthy again in the early 80s. So we go to the show, and I thought it was going to be all druggy, all people, bikers. In my mind, it was going to be all people. It was going to be bikers, and everyone smoking pot. And we got there, and it was all bikers and people smoking pot. And they quickly identified us as the only kids there, and made us feel 1,000% safe. All the biker mama, like we were the kids there, and we were under their guard. Under we were taken in by the Klan, and one thing I can draw away from that concert. I remember I went there, and all I wanted to do was be a drummer when I was in 6th grade. That's all I wanted to be, and or as far as music was concerned, I wanted to know how to play drums. And then I knew nothing about Eric Clapton, and then midway through the show, Layla started, and it was like some. Have you guys ever seen Johnny Darko?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember when that energy like that worm that picks people up and carries them, right?
Yeah.
I literally was pulled off the blanket on the hill, off the grass, and pulled to as close as I can get to watch what the fuck was going on with that guitar. And that's what I wanted to learn. Then I'm like, drums, who? Give me a guitar. Yeah.
Did you make out with any chicks?
In 6th grade, I wasn't that. I didn't have game back then, dude.
You know what the difference is between a baby and a bag of cocaine?
Oh no.
Eric Clapton would not let a bag of cocaine
Oh
fall off the
my
balcony.
God. There
Oh,
we go. There we go.
that's I don't even like to hear that song. It's so bad.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
My first
Anyways.
concert was I think 9th grade, and it was Foghat and the Outlaws at the New Haven Coliseum.
Dig it.
I mean, my first concert without my family, because I think
Right.
in the 70s we had seen like Rose, Roy Clark.
Eric Clapton, Eric Clapton was literally my first concert. Never been to a show. I mean, I've been to like we'd get like the family had gone to see maybe the Mamas and Papas at like Blossom or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's the first like rock show I'd ever been to without a cell phone. Can you imagine dropping a kid off now, like 45 minutes away, no cell phone, and some parents like, okay, stand, we're gonna pick you up. It's just there's no way.
Yeah, DCFS would pick you up now.
No way, exactly.
I don't think I started hitting rock shows till I was like 17. You see the local like at the fair or something, like the fucking Bodines play or some shit, and it's like,
I like the Bodine.
yeah.
Jeff was a late bloomer. He and his
Yeah,
family,
right.
he and his family would sit around and watch Lawrence Welk every Sunday night. It was a tradition.
Oh, you know what? My grandmother was all about that shit. Yeah.
I
Uh,
my mom's uncle and aunt were into that.
oh yeah. Yeah,
Wild.
man. I mean, my dad's side, his sisters were all way older than him, so they were all up in their 50s and 60s when he was in his 30s, So uh they were listening to that shit too.
Yeah, Lawrence Welk in his day, he got a lot of tail. A lot of tail.
From a girl named Bubbles.
The casting couch.
Yeah, the Lawrence Welk casting couch. Yeah,
I can
you
tell
just
them.
walk up and go, and the one and the two.
Jesus. Well, right on. I don't know. We wrapping it up?
Yeah.
You feel like it?
Yeah, I'm burnt, man. I
I
had a
Yeah,
am
lot of
turn
too.
it
shit
back
going on.
It's been a
around to
long
just
day.
talking about the beer league.
Yeah, let's do it.
As we wrap
Let's
up, do
finish
you want
on
to?
baseball note.
So what are you looking at the rest of the year? You got any
As
thoughts?
far as the beer league, it's kind of like I don't feel. I mean, it doesn't seem. I can't. I've never been able to get any trades done. So um, so I'm always looking for like I keep my eye on NAs to see who's interesting, and um, I'm gonna be definitely watching the futures game. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and the draft is Sunday, right?
Is it? Oh yeah, it's the same weekend.
Yeah. So
Right.
the futures game Saturday, the draft's on Sunday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Who do you think's going to go first overall?
I have no idea.
That kid
There's
from
no.
Georgia, Charlie something?
Condon or something. Didn't
Charlie Condon? Yeah.
Sean? I think that's what Sean said. No, the Indians have the first pick, right? I mean, the Guardians.
Whoever it is, I think they're going to get a good player, man. Whoever it is. I mean, those top three guys, top four people are supposed to be pretty studly.
Talking about organizations, that Cleveland organization, and every year people are like, oh, they don't got anything, and every year they outperform the expectations.
Yeah.
They're always in it, dude. They're great. It's a great organization.
Dude, you got Josh Naylor, man. I think that guy is just a good team guy, and he's out there trying hard. And I think, with Jose Ramirez too. I mean, those two guys both have 20 home runs on the same
They know how
team.
to put it. They have a team philosophy. They know how to put a lineup together. They're great at developing pitchers.
Yeah.
They're just a great organization.
They had to
Every year
send
they're in it.
Tristan McKenzie down and Logan Allen. They're both in
Yeah,
the minors right now.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I think
Well,
I thought that their rotation was probably a little thin to start the year, and without Logan Allen and McKenzie panning out, I would have thought they had zero chance.
Think about how many guys they've just
And look at them.
they've shut.
Caleb Williams just came back, so he had a bad outing the other night.
Gavin Williams.
Gavin Williams, yeah.
Same thing. They bring up a lot of guys that look good at first, but then there's like they shuffle them off pretty quick too. I mean, you look at Zach Plesac, you look at Clevenger, you look at oh God,
Ivy,
Savali.
Ivy, what's his name?
Oh, Beaver.
Just wait till the end of the year, though. They'll be in the thick of it every year.
And they cut bait on Savali, right? They got the
He
Tampa to
went to
take him, and then
Tampa.
Tampa flipped him.
Yeah, the
Milwaukee.
Brewers.
They got Manzardo for Savali, right?
Maybe.
I think so.
Sure. Oh, what about the trade this week between the Platinum Sombreros and Paging Dr. Satchel?
He gets trades done. He knows how to do it. What was the trade?
Semyon, was it?
Simeon and Garrett Stubbs for, let me look it up real quick here.
Oh, I can't think of who it is.
Trades. So it's Jared Jones and Garrett Crochet. Jarrett Jones is injured, and Garrett Crochet for Garrett Stubbs, who qualifies a catcher for Philadelphia, and Marcus Simeon.
So Phil got Simeon and who?
Garrett
Okay.
Stubbs.
The backup catcher for Philly. Now I don't know how long Rio Mutu is
Yeah.
back. Do you know when Rio Mutu is supposed to be back?
I have no idea.
I didn't think it was going to be much longer than the All-Star break.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like a serious I don't even know. Was he even on the 60 day? Let me see. I can tell you right
Let's
now.
see
I
here.
don't think so.
He's on the 15. But he's been up and down for the past month. Oh, definitely due to lat. So he's more weeks, not days
I think
away.
Jones is supposed to be back relatively soon too, right? He's not like out for the year or anything.
Mm.
Is he the pitcher from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Who? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then he got Garrett Crochet too, who's probably not going to be on the White Sox very much longer.
There's a
And that
lot. I
we
guess the question with him, I think he's a tricky trade piece because a contender. I mean, you'd think he'd be earmarked for a contender, but how many innings does he have left this year? I mean, he's been a really,
well,
he's
no,
been
he's got oh god, I mean, so more. Are you talking about innings that Crochet has, or innings that Platinum Sombrero have?
no innings that Crochet can feasibly pitch because he's never been a starter before.
That's true.
He can't throw
You got a point.
150 innings.
But if he's not playing to go to fucking first place. I mean, he's playing for his team next year. And if he can have that piece on his team next year, there you go. And he's probably going to cheat.
I wasn't talking about the beer league. I was talking about if he was traded to in real life to a contender,
Right.
it'd be a tricky situation to bring him aboard because how many
No,
innings are you going to get out of him?
There's years of control there involved too.
That's all good, but if a contender's trying to competing for this year, he might. I mean, how many more starts is he going to have left in him?
Well, it's up to them to decide.
That's why I'm still not sure. I mean, even though it's pretty much, I'll be wrong. I admit that probably I'll be wrong, but it just doesn't add up to me that not that he couldn't be traded, but that it's like a foregone conclusion. They're talking about it on like MLB Network, like it's definitely going to happen. But I don't understand why, unless the Sox just know that he's, there's an injury around the corner or something. Other than that, why would, if you're trying to be good, you finally got a guy who's good.
Right. Not good. Great. Yeah.
That's my I
not
don't
a free
fucking
agent.
understand.
I don't know what you're waiting for. Like the Sox, as constituted, with an off season, could contend for the Central. I mean, right? I mean, I think they can. And I
It's
don't.
like a gambling addiction. You're always chasing it, and it's like you're trying to get rid of bigger pieces, thinking you're going to get 3 pieces the same as him back, just a year later. And it just doesn't work that way.
If they were in the
So
deal with the
people
Orioles,
dismantle their teams and never get anything back because the players they just traded for fucking suck.
if they were with the Orioles, I could see, okay, let's let's pull the reins in this thing and we'll shoot for 3 years from now. But the Central, any team can win that division. They're all decent teams now, are getting there. So I understand that there's that. That's scary, right? There's 4 other teams that probably be better than they are, but better than those teams are right now. Not the Sox, but I don't know. Like, how can you do that? How can you just be like, Crochet is good. Let's get rid of him. Let's get
Yeah.
let's get
Well,
3
they're
question
talking the
marks
same
for
thing
him.
about Luis Robert too, except that their asking price, from what I understand and what I've read, is like none of these GMs think there's going to be a deal done by by the end of the month. Maybe in the off season in the winter meetings, but I mean, right now his stock is down because he hasn't been able to fucking play much because he's always hurt.
That's why I think that he might not get traded, because I don't know how high his stock is right now. He's already been hurt this year. He's been hurt in his career, and he was also. It wasn't like he was having his first healthy year this year. So that's why I think
Right.
like the players that would get, you know, more likely to be traded would be like, Pham, any of their bullpen pieces, maybe the guy they
Paul,
got from Japan,
Paul DeYoung.
the young,
Paul DeYoung.
who's the guy
DeYoung's
they
got
got from Japan,
16
the
home runs right
pitcher
now.
that's done great from Japan, Fetty.
Yeah, Fetty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so somebody like that I could see. I think
So
those guys are more likely than Robert and Crochet, but we'll see. I mean, I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but
maybe they're
Can you
thinking
believe
that.
how, can you believe how far Tim Anderson has fallen?
Oh my God.
Isn't that wild?
You know, it's too many. I think there's too many problems in his personal life to make him,
Agreed.
focus on his professional.
Agreed.
but he had one skill, and when that left him, he had nothing. His skill was like he could make incredible contact, right? And he
Damn
would,
it.
and it didn't even matter if it was a strike. He could still get a base hit, and he hasn't done that now for a couple of years. Without that, he's as bad as he was this year. He was one of the worst players in baseball this year. I mean, just the Marlins cut him. That's about as low as it gets. I mean,
Right.
the Rockies and the Marlins cut you, man. It's hard to build your resume back up.
He took
You
a
know who's
nice
got
belt
some?
in the mouth,
I
like
think
Ramirez.
the Cubs have some good pitchers in the pipe works, right?
Cade Horton, but he's hurt.
Horton.
They got some other guys too, though.
Yeah, well, they're all hurt.
Who am I thinking of? I mean, maybe Brent Brown gets healthy. Who else?
That's what
Cade Horton.
But there's somebody else too. There's another big name. Can't think of it.
Trying to think. Hold on a second here. If he's probably on the 40-man roster, and if he is, he's in the Yahoo thing here. So let's just bring up Cubs pitchers.
Is Moncada coming back soon? Not that it, not that it's a big season changer, but I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Got him. Oh my God. All right.
When Moncada was on the Red Sox in the Red Sox farm system, he had an OBP of 462. It was like I took a picture of this little clipping from Sports Weekly, and I sent it to my friend who's a Red Sox fan. He actually lives in Chicago, and but he's from the same town as me.
Hey John, I don't see anybody that fits that description here.
I guess what we're looking, we got the Cade Hortons. We got I don't know, Jordan Wicks. Is he? I don't know. He's only 24. He could be something. We don't know yet. You've got Ben
Jordan
Brown.
Wicks up here. Wait on a second. Maybe let go his next 25. Oh, Cole Franklin, Matthew Thompson, Drew Gray, Cade Horton,
Yeah,
Jacob,
I don't see. I don't
Caleb
see either
Killian,
too.
Caleb Killian.
Yeah, I don't know who I was. I don't know who I was thinking. Maybe I'm thinking of another team, another player. But
Yeah.
like as far as like if you're looking at fan graphs, they've got 3 guys We got Pete Crow Armstrong, Cade Horton, and Matt Shaw, who I don't know anything about. And then you got Alcantara, Wicks, and Owen Caffey, who could be.
I'm showing my Fangraphs.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, no, I'm
eight
just
guys that are on the IL right now on the Cubs pitching staff. 8 guys. And those Javier
9
Assad,
times.
Ben Brown, Mark Leiter Jr., Yency Almonte is out for the year because he's got Tommy John, Jordan Wicks, Albert Alzolay, Keegan Thompson, Colton Brewer, Julian Merriweather, and then even Caleb Killian in the minors. He's in the 6th.
That's 0.2 WAR right there. So that's why the Cubs aren't doing well.
Boy, you do your math fast.
All right,
But
hold on,
man,
let's
oh
see what-
man, it's just Jesus. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Owen Cassidy is would be the prospect I'm most interested in seeing.
Oh, yeah, the outfielder. What do you
Well,
think of Pete
catcher.
Crow Armstrong so far?
Who?
Pete Crow Armstrong.
I think yeah, I mean defense, I love it, right?
Yeah,
The
hit the
speed
shit.
is there. I think that could he develop? Sure. Is he going to be a star? I doubt. He could be a Gold Glover.
He could be a star like his mom.
Oh no, who's her mom? Who's his mom?
You should.
Oh,
Cheryl
Cheryl Crow Armstrong. Okay, I get it.
No.
You should see this guy ride a bike.
Save it for the stage. That's so funny. Wait, was it a podcast that someone made the comment?
Yeah,
I got it.
I ran with it, man. I told people.
That's hilarious.
They probably looked it up. They're like, "Who's full of shit?" That's not. Was he screwing with me?
That's hilarious because I mean on paper
It's in the world. And you know who said that shit first was Tim Mullen. He's the one that said it to me. I'm like,
Oh,
that makes sense.
That's funny. I mean, you could see, right? It makes sense.
Oh, you look at that kid, he kind of looks like Lance Armstrong.
He does. I get it. Yeah, he's white. He's yeah, he's a white fast guy. That totally says Lance Armstrong. No, he has the same face. You're right. Like the face.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Like 2 eyes.
So here I'm looking at the White Sox top
mouth.
prospects. I'm looking at the White Sox top prospects. It's pretty grim, dude. You got this guy Colson Montgomery, the shortstop. It has a 55, prospect grade, and then you got a couple 50 guys I haven't even heard of.
Who?
Noah Schultz. He's a starting pitcher.
Oh.
Yeah, Brian Ramos, third base.
They've
Edgar
both been up this
Quero,
year.
catcher.
Who was the other one? Oh, Caro. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they got him in a trade.
They got Caro in a trade. Yeah.
I like
Dylan
Drew
Cease
Thorpe.
trade, right?
I think so.
I like Drew Thorpe, but he's not an overpowering pitcher. I like him though.
You know what though? So far so good. I like what I see.
He's beat Detroit, Pittsburgh, those bottom tier teams, but he did what you're supposed to do is beat those bottom tier teams.
Well, hopefully he won't do that well because then he'll just get traded. So
Right.
He stays sort of like good mediocre.
Yep.
I'll bring up Drew Thorpe here. Let me see.
Well, let me just finish up from like 10 minutes ago, the Moncada thing. All I was saying is that I was so sure that Moncada was going to be a terror in MLB and he was going to be, play for the Red Sox. And I took a picture and texted that picture to my friend who's a Red Sox fan. He had a 462 OBP in minors. I thought he was, when the White Sox got him, I was like, oh yeah, they got a good one there.
He was the the linchpin. He was the treasured piece, man. Everyone thought he was going to be a star.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, he had a good year, but even that year was kind of like a slightly lucky year, if you want to put it that way. You know, good luck with his batted balls. He's just never really been very good, and he's not even healthy. You know, it's like, God
Right.
damn, could he be much more disappointing than he's been?
So I'm looking around to see who's got, oh, I mean, okay, here's an organization that knows what they're doing. A lot of these guys have been called up, but here, as of the beginning of 2024, here's the Baltimore Orioles prospect list. Ready? Jackson Holiday, a score of 70. Samuel Basallo, 60. Kobe Mayo,
He'll be gone.
55.
Those two guys
Edson
will be
Kirsten.
gone probably in a month. Go ahead.
I understood, but this is who they had in the minors starting off the season. They were stacked. Herson Kerstead, Cade Povich, and there's a bunch of other players. Man, that fucking Baltimore, they really stocked up those lean years. They stocked up on some great players.
Go down more. I want to hear 6 from 10 at least.
Okay, they Colton Cowser.
Okay. I've heard of all these guys.
He's legit. I don't know this guy, Enrique Bradfield Jr. He's an A+ ball.
Don't know.
He's only 22 years old. Who else would be of interest? This guy, though, there's a starting pitcher. Chauncey McDermott. He's 25, but he's 26 years old. I don't know if he's that interesting anymore.
The rankings would take that into account, though.
Yeah.
Great stuff. This guy's like right on me.
Where's Frankie? Where's Frankie? Hey, Frankie. What do you think of this podcast bullshit?
Oh, rough.
Yeah, good boy.
Well, you want to wrap it?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Well,
Right on.
John, I'm so glad that we finally got you on. This is the first time this year, and we're like past the halfway point. So
yeah, it's been hectic. I've had a lot of shit
you
going
on before Labor Day, because then that's about it.
Well, right on.
We've shifted into football then, and we actually did a little bit of that tonight.
Yeah. We're 2 sports stars.
Well, good luck the rest of the way. As long as you don't finish ahead of me, I don't care where you finish.
Right on. I'm pulling for you, Lou. I'm not Phil. Phil isn't the Death Star. He's not Darth Vader. All respect and love, but come on, Lou.
What you're saying that you root against the Yankees?
No, I'm saying he's not the Death Star. He's not Darth Vader. I love Lou. I mean, I love Phil. But man, Lou, Lou, I guess what I'm trying to say is it wouldn't break my heart if you ran away with this.
So he's won it 3 years in a row.
I get it. Yeah.
This would be 4.
I get it.
Rich can't let that happen.
Right. Put a stop to that.
I've tried to.
None of you guys are going to do it. I guess I'll have to.
I've tried to massage the numbers as best I can, but there's too many guys paying attention. I can't pull the stuff I used to pull. Like back in 2019 when I won. People pay more attention now.
They hate you when you win. Anyways, I'm rooting for you. I don't hate Phil for winning.
No.
But I'm rooting for you. But I'm pulling for you, Lou.
No, I don't hate him for that.
Right on.
All right, John. Well, hopefully we'll have you back in August, right?
All right, I'm in. All right, good to see you guys.
Clear the calendar.
We got it. I'm in.
All right.
I'm watching. I'll be paying attention. I'm invested.
All right.
All right, I'll see you guys.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye.